Hello, folks, and welcome to lecture number one for linear arrangements and circular arrangements revision. Right? I hope anybody who's seeing this lecture, either live or recorded, please make sure that you have given the test for this, which is available on the website. If you have not, do that first and then come back to this lecture. All right. Also, I would highly recommend if you have not attempted the Venn diagram tests and watched the Venn diagram lectures, do that as well. Really important, really value adding to your arsenal of weapons going into the section. Okay. So this test, I believe, was on the slightly easier side, right? So let's just break down each set one by one and see what were the learnings or things to remember in this specific section. Okay. So set number one starts with seven persons A, B, C, D, F, G, H were invited to speak at a conference which comprised only the speeches of these seven persons. Okay. All right. When they reached the venue, they saw there were a circular table. Okay. So clearly, this is a circular arrangement set, right? Let's see what the set tells us further. Um, Table which had only six uniformly spaced seats. So there were seven people, only six seats. Okay. Seven of them came to an agreement that at the beginning of the conference, while the first person to speak gives his speech at the podium, the remaining six-person will sit around the table. And once the first person finishes his speech, the second person to speak will stand at the podium, make his speech, offering his seat to the person who spoke just before him. So, guys, reading this, what do I know is that somebody who comes and sits on the table, right, is essentially taking the seat of the person who's going to speak after that person. That's all I can take from this paragraph so far. Okay. All right. Then what is told to me? This process of sharing seats will continue till the seventh person has given his speech, at the end of which all the seven people will leave the venue. Following information is known and their seating arrangement during the conference. Okay. So I've been given a few clues. So, guys, tell me this. What should be my first thought process in this? Where do you think I need to start? What are the things I need to keep in mind when I am looking at this set before starting solving it? Tell me. Anchor point is one. Okay. What else? What else? I have not started reading the points. So, what do I understand is that the person who spoke first will only go and sit in one seat. And similarly, the person who spoke last will only be sitting in one seat, after which they will leave. Correct? So, that is going to be one of the things which I will have to remember. All others will definitely occupy two seats. Right? So, guys, do you also agree that the same person cannot come back to their own seat as well? Right? Because that would then contradict the whole setting of this set. Okay. So, with these thoughts in mind, let's move on to solving this. Okay. So, obviously, I need to not only understand the arrangement that they have at the beginning of the conference, but also what was the order of speaking, because that is going to be a big element in deciding this arrangement throughout the conference. Okay. So, clue number one. The two seats which Harish occupied during the conference were exactly opposite to each other. So I know Harish has occupied two seats. That means Harish is definitely not the first to speak and not the last to speak. Okay. It also tells me that whoever is sitting opposite Harish goes and gives the speech immediately after Harish. So this point I will keep in mind. I will not cancel it just yet. Okay. What does clue number two tell me? Farhan, who was sitting opposite Bhargav at the beginning of the conference, did not occupy any other seat throughout the conference. Guys, what does this tell me? At the beginning, Farhan had a seat and he did not have any other seat. That means clearly Farhan is the seventh person, right? So Farhan is the seventh person. I will cancel out that nobody else can be seventh and Farhan cannot be at any other position, right? Okay. So this is clear to me. And I also know Farhan and Bhargav were opposite to each other. Okay. Guys, quickly, do you think it would be a good idea to take Farhan as the anchor in this? Because I know Farhan is the last person to get up. So basically, Farhan is going to be sitting in the conference on the table all the time. So let's just take Farhan as my anchor point over here. And I know who's opposite to Farhan? It is Bhargav. So Bhargav sits over here. Okay? Okay. So I know this much. What is the second half of this statement? While both Bhargav and Farhan occupy the same seat at different times during the conference. Oh, this is interesting. Guys, this is exactly the thought process which we entered with. If B is occupying F seat, say F is the last speaker, right? And F does not occupy any other seat. And if B and F have shared a seat, that means B is immediately before F, correct? That's the only possibility. Only then B gives his speech and comes back and sits on Farhan's seat, right? So I know that B is going to be sixth. So B cannot have any other position and nobody else can have the sixth position. Clear? Take it. Point number 3. Dheeraj, who was sitting to the left of Ankur. Okay. Guys, I hope you guys remember and this is clear to you. It's a circular arrangement. What does left mean? What does left and right in this context of circular arrangement mean? They mean immediately left and immediately right. Okay. Left does not mean you can go anywhere, unlike linear arrangement. So, so I know Dheeraj, who was sitting to the left of Ankur at the beginning of the conference, gave his speech immediately after Ankur. Okay. So for now, as I'm focusing more on the order of giving speeches, if Dheeraj is immediately after Ankur, so Ankur cannot be fifth and Dheeraj cannot be first. Can I conclude that? Since Dheeraj has to be after Ankur and there has to be somebody after Ankur. So these two positions I can strike off. I will come back to that seating once I am having more data. Okay. Gaurav sat in two different seats, neither of which was opposite any seat in which Bhargav sat. Okay. Now this is interesting. Gaurav sat in two different seats, neither of which was opposite to the seat in which Bhargav sat. Now, guys, till the end, because Bhargav and Farhan were sixth and seventh, they were opposite each other. So this clue is essentially only telling me that Gaurav did not occupy Bhargav's seat when Bhargav went to give the speech. Yes, correct. So I can say that Gaurav was not fifth. This is what I am told. Gaurav was not fifth. Correct. So I can just strike that out. Also, one more thing which we forgot to take out from clue number 3, right? That Dheeraj and Ankur were at the table at the beginning of the conference. So A and D cannot be first. So if A is not first, D cannot be, D cannot be second because the earliest A can go is second, and therefore the earliest D can go is third. Correct? Okay, somebody is asking, sir, can you repeat how Gaurav wasn't fifth? Yes, absolutely. So, what did we establish before coming into the clues? That somebody who's coming and occupying somebody's seat. In this case, if Gaurav were to occupy Bhargav's seat, that means Gaurav would have been immediately before Bhargav. And since we've been told that Gaurav was not occupying Bhargav's seat, how do we know that? Bhargav sat opposite to Farhan and then Bhargav occupied Farhan's seat. So if Gaurav was not sitting opposite, that means Gaurav was not fifth. Clear? Okay. So this is what I know so far. Anything else? No. Okay. Let's look at clue number 5. Ankur sat to the left of Farhan at the beginning of the conference. So Ankur is sitting over here. And I know Dheeraj was sitting to the left of Ankur. Okay. At the beginning of the conference. Okay. So this is what I know so far. What else can I see? In clue number 1, there was another point, the second half. The two seats which Harish occupied were exactly opposite to each other. Now, in this, what can I say? Now, guys, can Harish sit over here? If Harish sits here, that means Harish will have to sit over here after his speech, right? That means Harish would be just before Dheeraj. And that is not possible because we've been told Ankur is just before Dheeraj. So therefore, I know that Harish cannot sit here. Harish has to sit over here. Yes. And that also tells me that Harish is just before A. Correct? Another thing that we saw in clue number 4 is Gaurav is sitting in 2 seats. So Gaurav also cannot be first. And therefore, Gaurav has to sit over here. This is the arrangement of the beginning of the conference. So there are a couple of more inferences that we need to make in deductions. I know C is first. So this is clearly done. Okay. Harish is before Ankur and Ankur is before Dheeraj. So Ankur cannot be second because Harish can earliest be second. And if Ankur cannot be second, Dheeraj cannot be third, right? And also Harish cannot be fifth. Harish cannot be fourth, right? Because there are at least two people after Harish. So what do I know for sure? If I look at row number 5, the only person who can be fifth is Dheeraj. And therefore Ankur has to be fourth. And therefore Harish has to be third. And therefore Gaurav has to be second. And that's it. My set is solved. Is everybody clear? Very simple. Let's look at the questions very quickly. Yeah. Who was sitting to the left of Bhargav when the last person was giving his speech? So when the last person was giving speech, Bhargav was sitting over here and Harish came to this position. So to the left was Harish. Okay. Who was sitting opposite Harish when Dheeraj was giving his speech? Okay. Let's look at it. Since Harish was here and Dheeraj was giving the speech, so Harish was already over here. So guys, tell me who will occupy Harish's seat? Because that is the seat which is opposite. The person who gave the speech before Harish, which is Gaurav. Very simply. And that's my answer. Very simple, very straightforward. Question number 3. Who among the following was not sitting opposite Ankur at any point during the conference? Okay. So we have Harish. Of course, Harish was sitting opposite. Yes. Ankur. Yes, guys. I know you know the answer, right? So Harish was sitting opposite, and then Ankur went to a position, and then that position was changed. And therefore, I know the clear answer for this question is going to be Dheeraj. Yes. I hope I'm right. Yes. Okay. Question number 4. Who was sitting opposite Gaurav at the beginning of the conference? Very straightforward. We already have that diagram. And that's the end of this set. So, guys, the simple things to revise and revisit and learn in this set were the concepts of left, right? And to being able to visualize how the seats will change and that which of these positions will cross out. So I've always told you, when there is a combination type of a circular arrangement set, try to get the attributes first. Okay. That will more often than not help you get the arrangement faster. Is everybody clear with this set? So according to you, how much time should have taken for this set ideally? Ideally, I believe not more than 10 minutes. Not more than like maximum 10 minutes. Yes. Okay. Let's look at set number 2. All right. So I have 5 people A to E who were standing along in a straight line from east to west. All right. Not necessarily in the same order. The 5 person were facing 4 different directions, north, south, east, and west. The distance between any pair of persons standing immediately next to each other was 10 meters. After some time, the 5 of them walked exactly 10 meters along the direction that they were facing. The following information is known to us about the distances after and before. Okay. So I like this set because This is a set which really helps you visualize and understand how we work with cardinal directions and left right in combination in a linear arrangement set. That is what is there to learn from this. Okay. So let's start. So, guys, we all know that in a circular arrangement set, it's always better to take an anchor, right? That's a good point in order to crack the set open. Whereas we usually don't do that in linear arrangement. But that's because we are arranging people in some order. Here, there is a before and there is an after. So I'm sure the direct clues which will help you really arrange people to begin with would be very minimal. And therefore, in this type of a set, which is linear arrangement, but does not really have a direct clue to tell you who is standing where in the beginning or the end. In such a case, you are again required to identify who could be your anchor point or points. Okay. So this is one of those rare sets of linear arrangement where anchor point will really help you. So if I just glance through the clues, who are the two, three people among the five which I can declare as the main protagonists of this set? Right? It will be, I can see B is mentioned three times, I think. D is mentioned a couple of times. E is mentioned a couple of times. And D, B, and E are there in one single point. I'm not reading the points, I'm just looking at the letters, right? So I believe D, B, and E would be the right sort of combination to start with. Everybody agrees? Yes? Okay. Let's look at this. After walking, the distance between A and B was exactly 10 meters. Right now, I don't know the directions, I don't know the starting points, so I will put this clue on hold for now. Okay. D, who was facing east. Okay, so this is a good clue. D was facing east. By the way, guys, obviously I'm taking this as the north. Okay, just letting you know. D was facing east, was at a distance of exactly 10 meters from both E and B after walking. Okay, this seems to be an interesting point. Okay, let's go through the other ones as well. No two persons were at the same point after walking. That only means that, if there's D, somebody is here and somebody is, let's say, over here. So this person does not walk one space and this person does not walk one space in order to have two people in one place. That's the whole idea behind this point number 3. Okay. Point number 4. Before they started walking, B was to the west of E and they were neither facing the same direction nor facing each other. I think this point 2 and point 4 together is what will help you crack this case. Now, guys, I know that B is to the west of E before they started walking, right? And I know D, B, and E are at 10 meters distance, like D is 10-meter distance from B and E after walking. So can I just make three cases? Like either it would be D, B, and E, either it would be B, D, and E, or either it would be B, E, and D. Can I make these three cases? Because I always know that B is to the west of E before starting. Yes? Okay. All right. Clue number 5. At least one person was facing north and at least one person was facing west. Again, I think this is a very important clue. But guys, notice this. We have been given constraints of facing north and east. Okay. And we know D is facing, north and west, and we know D is facing east. So far, we have no constraint or mention of south. Okay. It may be there, it may not be there. There is no compulsion. So, clue number 6. The distance between E and C decreased after walking, but the distance between A and C remained the same. Again, sort of an indirect clue. We will use this. Chalo. So, guys, tell me what should be the next step in my approach. What I will do here is I will look at all of these three cases. If multiple of them are possible, if not, I will try to eliminate them basis the clues that we have. Okay. Let's start with case number 3. Right. Guys, tell me this. If D moves this way, right, is there any way that both B and E can be 10 meters from D? No, right? Even if they both move in the same direction, it will not happen. And there is no other case that will make it possible. So I can very easily eliminate this case. So I only have two cases to work with. Okay. All right. Let's look at this case. If B is on to the left, again, I'm not saying it's immediate. I've just marked the relative positions for now. Okay. If I know B is to the left of D, E is to the right, and D is moving towards the right. Right. So one way is that all three of them move east, but that is not possible. We've been told in clue number 4 that B and E are not facing the same direction. So that's not possible. Yes. Let's say E is facing east, suppose. That means D and E both moved one space. There is no other possibility apart from going east that B has in order to stay 10 meters away from D. So therefore, I can say that E is not facing east in this case, for sure. Yes. E is not facing east. Then the only way is either E goes north or south. Correct? And the only way that B is 10 meters away from D is by walking towards east. There is no other possibility. Correct? Okay. So I know B is going towards east, D is going towards east. E may go north or south. Either ways, E will stay 10 meters away from D. Very straightforward. Okay. How about A and C? What do I know about that? I know that after walking, A and B were 10 meters apart. Now, since B and D have to be 10 meters apart, there cannot be anybody between them. Yes, that is not possible. So therefore, I know that the only way this is possible, that clue number 1 gets satisfied, is if A is to the immediate left of B and moves towards the east. Only then it is possible. Yes. Correct, guys? All right. And now if I look at clue number 6, which is the only clue talking about the person C, that distance between E and C decreased. Now, guys, if E is moving either north or south, the only way the distance can decrease, realistically speaking, is if C moves towards E. Is that correct? That's the only possibility. C has to move towards E in order to decrease the distance. So either C can move towards east from this side or towards west from this side. That's the two cases I have. Now, the second part of clue number 6 tells me that A and C, the distance remains the same. Therefore, if A is moving east, C has to move towards east. C cannot move any other direction. So I know that C cannot move west. And this is a problem because clue number 5 tells us that there has to be at least one person moving west. Here we have 4 people moving east and one person moving north or south. Is this possible? No, right? I hope everybody understood how we arrived and desiccated this case. Yes. So therefore, I know that this case is also not possible. Very good. So we have eliminated 2 cases. So now I know for sure that this is the case that is going to work. I hope, because we have not really missed any cases, right? So let's look at this case. Now I know that D, B, and E are in this arrangement when they're starting out. Okay. Now if D is moving towards east, D will come over here. I know that B and E have to be 10 meters away from this. If B also move towards the east and B comes here, then there is no place for E to move in order to be 10 meters away from D. Correct? There is no way. So what do I know from this is that the only way this can work out is if B moves either north or south and E is moving towards the west, coming towards D. Correct? Because if they were in three consecutive places, then B and D and E would have met at the same point, which is not allowed. Therefore, I can say that there is one person between B and E, and that E is occupying that person's position in order to be 10 meters away from D after moving. Everybody agrees? D, B, and E were starting. If there was no person between B and E, then D and E would meet at the position that B started, and that is not allowed. Therefore, there has to be somebody between B and E. Okay? All right. So let's just make this properly. So what do I know is this is the before. Okay? This is the before. In my after, I know that D occupied B's position while walking east. E occupied this person's positions while walking west. B either went up or B went south. We don't know this right now. Okay. Now let's see. Point number one tells me that A and B were 10 meters apart after walking. The only way this is possible is if A was over here and moved in the same direction as B did. So either A moved above with B or A moved below with B. Do you agree? There is no other way? Because we've already established the fact that there is nobody between B and D in order for the other conditions to satisfy. So A has to be over there. Yes. All right. So I know this. And as we discussed, sixth point is the only point which is mentioning C. So let's see what happens. The distance between E and C decreased. Now, since I know E has moved horizontally, so either C moved towards E, that's one, or C moved north and south. That is the only combination. C cannot move west, that I know for sure. Yes. But at the same time, the second part of the sixth point tells me that the distance between A and C remained the same. That means if A went north, C has to go north. Otherwise, the distance will change. Correct? Yes. So let's again see two cases. So either C can be over here or C can be over here. If C is over here, E walked away from C, so that the distance would have increased. So therefore, I know this is not possible. So the only case which is possible is C has to be towards the left of D and has to move upwards or downwards with A. Okay. So therefore, this is what my arrangement, oops, sorry. This is what my arrangement will look like. Now there is one more condition which we are yet to fulfill. That clue number 5. At least one person was facing north and at least one person was walking west. E was walking west, that is clear. What we have established is A, B, and C are all moving the same direction. A because of B and C because of A. Do we agree with that? Yes, all three of them go north or all three of them go south. There is no in between case. So since I know there has to be at least one person facing north, I can conclusively say that none of them moved south. That case is not possible. So this is my final arrangement before and after. And that's it. The set is solved. Is it clear with everybody? Any doubts? Those of you who had any issues with cardinal directions or, not having a fixed starting point or direct clue in this, the set is not as difficult. You just have to visualize properly and be thorough with your left, right, and the cardinal directions. Okay. Let's answer the questions quickly. Let's look at question number 3 and 4 first. They seem a little direct, right? Who among the following was standing closest to A after walking? Clearly, it was E, right? Among the following guys. Otherwise, it would be B and E both. B is not an option, so therefore, answer is E. What is the distance between B and C after walking? 20. That's it. Now let's see the two questions which are giving some additional information. If all of them, yeah, if all of them walked a further 10 meter in the direction they were facing, okay, so C goes here, B goes here, A goes here, this becomes E, and this becomes D. Okay. I hope it's clear that E and D are still on the same line. A, B, and C have moved further away. Okay. The direction they were facing, the distance between which of the following pairs will be the highest. Now, between CE and CD, definitely CD is higher. So this option is out. AD and CD, of course, AD is lower. AC and CD, it's a right angle triangle. Hypotenuse is going to be bigger. This is my answer. I don't need to calculate the distances. Look at the triangles. This is one triangle and this is one triangle. And I can just figure out the distances by the sides because I want relative distances. They did not ask me exact, at least in this question, right? So be smart about it. You don't need to actually calculate the distances. Okay. Question number 2. If all of them walked a further 10 meter, which is already done, along the respective direction that they were facing, what will be the distance between A and D? Simply 20. And that's it. This set is over. Is it clear with everybody? I hope this was now simplified for all of you. Yes. So yeah, that's set number 2 for you. What do you think should have been the ideal time, guys? See, case number 1, which we eliminated, it was very straightforward. Yes. Case number 2 was slightly longer. We actually practically had to solve it completely. But still, I believe it was very much doable within 10 minutes. Being very, very generous, 10 minutes was enough for this set, right? All right. Okay. Let's look at set number 3. During a period of 10 days, day 1 through day 10, each day it rained or snowed or was windy. Okay. And I've been given some conditions that, that rain, snow, and windy are non-overlapping. And on any day it was, yeah, if it rained, Jatin went to movie on that day. So I've been given some conditions on how this person Jatin behaved, basis how the weather was. And then we have been given a few clues, right? Now, if I look at the questions quickly, it tells me that how many days did Jatin go to the gym? Which of the following days did not snow, but Jatin went to the mall, so on and so forth. So, guys, I essentially need to understand and determine what 10 days, what was the weather on each day, and what did this guy Jatin do on each of those days, right? Also, two of my questions are theta, and the other two have a deterministic MCQ answer. So, it's a very simple, straightforward, complete set, correct? I believe this was the easiest set in this paper. That's my opinion. Okay. Let's start and arrange this quickly. Very simple set. You could have made any sort of table. You could have had rainy, snowy, and windy again as different rows, or you could have had all the activities in one row. Doesn't matter. This is what I prefer because weather I know is only one on any day, whereas activities could be multiple on any day. So hence I've made this table giving one row to the weather and individual row to each activity. MOV clearly is movie, mall and gym are as it is. Okay. All right. So before I get to the clues, let's just understand the constraints that Jatin follows on different weather days. Okay. Okay. If it rained on any day, Jatin went to a movie on that day. So if it is raining, we will have a movie day. Okay. If it snowed, then Jatin went to the mall. So if it is snowing, we will have him going to the mall. Okay. If it was windy, Jatin went to the gym. So if it's windy, Jatin is going to the gym. Okay. Further, if Jatin went to the mall but did not go to any movie on that any day, he also went to the gym on that day. So either after mall, Jatin does a movie. If not movie, then he does a gym session. Okay. But guys, remember this. We have not been told anything about what if he goes to the movie. Does he go to the gym or not? We don't know. So again, both the cases. He can go to the gym after movie or whatever, or have none after the movie. Okay, so this is what I know. Next, what does the line tell me? If Jatin went to a movie on any day, he also went to the mall. So movie and mall are definitely together on a rainy day. Okay. Again, here I don't know whether he goes to the gym or not in this. So again, I will have two cases: gym or no gym. Okay. Okay. And then I have my clues. So are we clear on how he operates? On a rainy day, movie and mall is mandatory, gym optional. On a snowy day, mall is mandatory. One of movie and gym is mandatory. Other one is also branched. And on a windy day, only gym is mandatory. Rest nothing is mandatory. Okay, that's it. So, what does clue number one tell me? It did not snow on any two consecutive days. Okay, sort of an indirect clue. Will come to this later. Jatin did not go to the mall on day 8 and day 10. So, day 8, no mall. Day 10, also no mall. Guys, if I know he does not go to the mall, he will not go to the movie as well, for sure. Yes, yes. I can say that if he's not going to the mall, that means he's not going to the movie. So this is out. That means he has to go to the gym that day. Yes. And if he's only going to the gym, means the weather is windy. Very straightforward. Okay. While he went to a movie on day 3. So day 3, he went to a movie. So definitely also went to the mall. I don't know about the gym just yet. So this is what I will hold. Okay. Clue number 3, it rained on at least 3 days and it snowed on at least 3 days. Again, sort of an indirect clue. We will come back to this later. All right. On each of day 2 and day 5, Jatin went to the mall. Day 2 and day 5, Jatin went to the mall but did not go to a movie. So, did not go to a movie. So, that means he went to the gym for sure. Yes. And that means these 2 days were snowy. Yes. Are we together on this? He went to the mall, did not go to the movie. That means he went to the gym. That means the days were snowy. Okay. All right. While on each of day 1 and day 7, he went to the gym. Day 1 went to the gym. Day 7 went to the gym. But did not go to the mall. Okay. So day 1 and day 7 went to the gym. Did not go to the mall. If no mall, then no movie as well. That means again day 1 and day 7 are windy. Very simple. Okay. All right. What does the last clue tell me? He went to a movie, both a movie and a gym on exactly 4 days. So movie and gym on 4 days happened. So far we only have one movie day. So we need one more movie day, three more movie days. And he has gone to gym on all the 3 days. And if he goes to the movie, he has to go to the mall. So these are also there. Okay. And same with this. Correct? So now I have exactly 4 days where he went to the movie and gym. Okay. Now what did we know? It rained on 3 days, snowed on at least 3 days. Before that, clue number one, snow does not happen on any two consecutive days. So there is only one place where snowing can happen, which is day number 9. And rest of the days will be rainy days. And that's it. The set is solved. I hope it was pretty straightforward. You just have to understand this and deduce this branching. That's the only trick that was there in this set. Nothing else. Correct, guys? So you have to also deduce what is not given. I've always told this. In DILR, any line which is given, what it says, what it does not say, and what it negates. These are the three things that we need to understand. Because if you miss any of those, you will be stuck in the set and you won't be able to solve it completely. Okay. All right. If this is clear, we can move ahead. But before that, guys, tell me if this was more than a 7-minute set. Be honest. Was it a more than a 7-minute set? I hope not, right? It's very straightforward. It's a complete set. Very, very simple, I felt. Let's answer the questions. On how many days Jatin went to the gym? I think all the 10 days. All the 10 days. Yes. Question number 2. On which of the following days did it not snow, but Jatin went to the mall? So mall but not snow. This is 1, 2, and 3. Right? And this is day number 4, 6, and 9. So it did not snow, but Jatin went to the mall. Mall 4, 6, and 9. Okay, that's all right. So we have multiple days. Oh, sorry, 9 is snowing. My bad, my bad, my bad. It's day 4. Yes, my bad. All right, question number 3. On how many days that were windy did Jatin go to only gym? Windy, only gym. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pretty straightforward. Yes. On how many days did it snowed that Jatin went to a movie? So snow and movie I need to find. It's only one. Snow and movie is only one. And that's it. This set is over. Right? Very simple, straightforward, complete set. No indirect questions, no indirect clues really. I believe this was the easiest set. There is no argument about that. All right, let's move to our last set of the test. 9 trackers have been given to us. Start a trek from this place to this place. Okay, 3 of them are with this group, 4 of them with other group, and 2 of them with other group. Okay, and then I've been given a few clues. Okay, all right. So this set has 6 questions, so definitely a higher ROI relatively, right? But we've always seen that it's better to go for sets that I am confident I will solve, even if it's a 4-question set, than being greedy for a 6-question set and getting stuck and not being able to get any marks. So this set in this test I had put in order to really test your greed out, because I believe this was the trickiest set in this test. And if you just went for it because of the 6 questions, you would have missed out on all the other 3 easier sets, right? So please be very, very careful and keep your greed in control in a paper format. Be very realistic. A bird in hand is better than 2 in the bush. Always remember this. Okay. So what we need to figure out here is very clearly who is with what group, and when did they end their trek, what rank or something, right? So this is sort of a combination set of somewhere in between of linear arrangement, because there is the timing and ranking kind of a thing, and of course an order and ranking with a sub order and ranking, because there is ranking within groups, right? And clearly there is a attribute of grouping and team selection as well. So this was definitely a tricky set. Nothing that we can't crack, obviously, but definitely not the set that you start with or you get greedy about, right? Because apart from just being longer and having a complex structure, I can see from question number 2, question number 4, and question number 5 that most likely this will be incomplete as well. I won't really be able to get all the values and all the groupings as I'm supposed to from the given clues, right? So let's start. How does this set look like? Okay. I have 9 trackers A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and J. Simultaneously started a trek from Gaurikund to Kedarnath. 3 of them were with Garhwal trekkers. 4 were with Shakti hikes, SH, and 2 were with mountain treks, MT. So let's just call them SH, MT, and GT. Okay. I have also been given that each trekker was able to finish the trek. Okay, nice. Let's look at the clues. J finished the trek in maximum amount of time among the trekkers in MT. So J finished in maximum time among MT. So can I say that J was last in empty means J's rank was second in empty and that J was in empty. I can get these three things. Yes. Okay. Clue number 2. A finished the trek earlier than only G among the 9 trackers. Guys, always remember the keyword only will help you crack the case. Okay. A finished the trek earlier than only G. That means I know G is 9th and A is 8th. Correct? Very simple. Okay. What else can I know from this? Clue number 3. E finished the trek in the least time in his or her trekking group, and exactly 2 trekkers finished in time less than him or her among the 9 trekkers. So clearly, E is third and is first among his or her group. Okay. Guys, the number in the bracket is representing the rank within the group. Okay. Don't get confused. All right. So this is what I know. That means I know that the people who were before E, that is 1 and 2 position, but not from the same group as E. I can conclude that very simply. Yes. H finished the trek in maximum time in his trekking group. Okay. So H was, I can say H was last in his group. I don't know what was the group. Yes. So guys, understand this. J is last in one group, H is last in one group, and G is last overall. So G has to be last in his or her group as well. So can I say A and G have to be of the same group? Because maximum J and H can occupy the position 7th. So I can assure that A and G will be of the same group, only then G will be last in his or her group. Okay. So I'll just keep this information in mind and move forward. D, who was not in mountain treks, finished the trek in the least time. So D is over here and D was not mountain trek. So D was either GT or SH. And of course, D was, let's write it a little properly, right? Of course, D was number 1 in the group. Okay. Take care. Okay, so you didn't understand A and G being in the same group. See, I know J is last in his or her group. H is last in his or her group. And the last position that they can hold is 7th. So if A is finishing the trek after J and H, A cannot be in the same group as J and H. Therefore, A has to be in the same group as G because G is last overall. Okay, so A will be second last in that group. Correct? All right. Now, clue number 6 is very interesting. The number of trekkers who finish the trek in more time than B is same as the number of trekkers who finish the trek in less time than C. Now, guys, with this, what can I say? Can I say that the sum of positions of B and C will be 10? Sum of positions of B and C will be 10? Yes. Because they have to be on the same position from left and right. Only then this condition can be satisfied. So, of course, they cannot have 1 and 9. They cannot have 2 and 8. They cannot have 3 and 7. So, the only possibility is B and C being on 6th and 4th. Correct? That's what I know. Okay. All right. Clue number 7. Exactly 3 trekkers of Shakti Hike finished the trek in more time than the one who finished the trek in maximum time in Garhwal trekkers. Okay. All right. So Garhwal trekkers had 3 people. Shakti had 4 people. Okay. And what is told to me that after Garhwal trekkers last person, 3 people of Shakti finished. Okay. All right. Now, how can we do this? What do I know that means? That at least minimum, this is where Garhwal trekkers will end. Minimum. Correct? Could be before that as well, but this is where Garhwal trekkers have to end. Okay? Okay. Also, if let's assume A and G are not SH, it's not possible because if A and G are Garhwal trekkers, then there is nobody after them. And also A and G cannot be empty mountain treks. So A and G have to be SH, SH and SH. right? Okay. Let's look at clue number 8. The trekker who finished the trek in second least timing among the 9 trekkers finished the trek in least in his or her group. So whoever was over here was first in their group. Correct? So therefore I know J and H have to be at 5 and 7 only. That's the only possibility. Yes, J and H have to be in 5 and 7. Correct? Now since I know, guys, remember this. I know that G is the last person in SH. J is the last person in MT. Therefore, I know that H is the last person in GT. Garhwal trackers, yeah, GT. So H cannot be over here because then there would be 3 people of SH after H. So therefore, H has to be over here. Correct? H has to be over here and H has to be of the group GT. And if H is last in GT group, that means it's third position in GT. Correct? Therefore, the only position left for J is over here with second position in MT, and this is MT. Therefore, I can also say the person on the 6th position was an SH. Correct? Yes. Now, what else is left? What else is left? SH, 3 people are done. One of these will be SH, who is first in SH, right? Which I don't know just yet. MT again, one of the persons on position number 2 or 3 will be MT. So I know that position number 4 has to be from GT. Correct? And the only person who's remaining to be placed is F. So F will come over here. Yes. Do I know anything else? I think that's it. I think that's it. Am I missing something? Yes, yes, yes. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's answer the questions in that case. Amazing. Who among the following trekkers definitely belong to the SH group? So A belong to SH group. Yes. Amazing. Who finished the trek in second least among the 9 trekkers? F. For how many trekkers can their finishing position be uniquely determined? So apart from B and C, I can determine it for 7 people. Yes. Question number 4. If F belongs to Shakti hikes, so if this is SH, this has to be GT and this has to be MT, right? Then E definitely belongs to MT. Done. If C finished his trek before H, so if, let me just erase the conditions of the previous questions. So if C finished before H over here, therefore B finished over here, okay? Then the number of people who belong to the group of B and finish their trek after B is 2. Yes, very simple. Which of the following, let's just erase this. Which of the following combinations of trekkers name and trekking group is correctly identified? F and mountain treks, we don't know. E, we don't know. B, also we don't know. So it's H. I don't even have to check because I know F, E, and B, we don't know these groups of theirs, right? So not a very difficult set, definitely trickier among the other sets in this test. But that was on purpose in order to test your greed, as I said. One more thing, guys, if you notice over here, let's say I was not solving this set. Okay, let's say I was not solving this set. This is a set I was skipping. Okay. Even then, if you look at question number 3, for how many trekkers can their finishing position be uniquely determined? Right? Let's say I don't have this table, I've not solved it. Okay. Now, guys, if from 9, only 2 or 3 people's positions and groups could have been identified, would there be 4 questions with proper completeness? Question number 1, question number 2 sort of complete. 3 is a theta question, so definitely complete. And 6 is a complete question. No, right? So even if I were to take an educated guess over here, out of 9, since I know there are two questions which are asking about cannot be determined, and there is a question about uniquely determined. So I would guess somewhere between 6, 7, 8, somewhere between 5, 6, 7, 8 or something, right? And because I've been asked about finishing position, not groups, okay? I would look at the other questions. And again, I'm just sort of telling you how to take an educated guess, not a full-fledged, foolproof method of getting an answer right. But if I have last few seconds left, and if I have to take a guess, how to increase your probability of getting it right. Okay. Since I want to know how many of them were we able to understand the positions, I will look at question number 5. That if C finished somewhere after and before, that means C definitely position. I don't know. Yes. And also, uh, who's getting affected because of C? B is getting affected. Yes. Now again, maybe I would have taken H into consideration, maybe not. So I would have taken a guess at this answer as 6 or 7. I would have taken the answer guess as 6 or 7 in this, which now that we know the answers would have been a very fair 50% chance kind of a thing. Also understand that you can't know the people position of 8 people because then ninth is automatically implied. So it's either 9 or 7 and 6. So this question was sort of a low hanging fruit if you were in a time crunch and taking an educated guess. This is how you would have taken it to ensure getting a few extra marks. All right. So that's the end of today's discussion. I will see you in the next lecture.